Okay. Alright, Reflection, let's get into this. So, this week in Destiny, November 14th, 2024. This week in Destiny, we're getting ready for the Act 2 of Revenant. That starts on this Tuesday, the 19th. Um, so there's the new activities, the story content, and changes to Roman supers. But here's the topics. Recap of the live stream, the artifact, Act 2 sandbox preview, an update from the PvP strike team, winners of the Pumpkin and Fashion, and Street Fighter collab. So all the stuff about, the new activity, Tomb of the Elders, new artifact perks, dawning stuff, the latest collab, and weapons were covered in the dev live stream. We have our reaction to that on our channel. The new perks. All armor mods that affect melee will be discounted with this. Emergency reinforcements consumes all but one armor charge. Thick of it, rapid final blows while surrounded will grant you an armor charge. A boost, so while you are surrounded, your weapons have increased handling. Swords gain increased charge rate. But for me, the one I like the most is this one, Curative Orbs. Because if you break a target's shield or a guardian in their super, you create an overpower. Boost picking of overpower, elemental pickup, or a tangle. By picking these up, you gain a small amount of health. Well, you combine that with, rapid hits or final blows on jolted targets, spawn an Ionic Trace, and Ionic Trace is an elemental pickup. That will also give you like ability energy. Well, now it will also give you health. So that's good too. And with my build that I'm running, those it sound great. Many changes are coming very soon to Destiny. On next Tuesday, when Act 2 launches and the updates available, we'll have some nerfs for outliers like Storm's Edge, some buffs for Roman supers, and then some weapons and armor pieces getting a little bit of both. Let's get into it. The supers, mostly inside of PvP. Yeah, Roman supers kind of felt like, you can't really use them in compared to one off. I mean, you got Blade Barrage, you got Silence and Squall, Tether one off, Storm's Edge really made, the one offs feel like, even though you can kind of run with it, you can't really like do a lot with it. So, with that being said, we're changing the damage-based recharge parameters for all Roman supers against PvE combatants only, increasing the amount of super energy gain while damaging combatants by roughly 3 times as much as what it is today. The intent here is that you'll more likely have a Roman super when you need it for a panicked activation or to jump an enemy spawn point. In our internal playtest, we're having a blast with extra activations per encounter or activity, especially with the Spicy Fire Team coordination as reference. If you were using between 3 and 5 Nova Bombs while playing in Advanced Nightfall, you now charge around 6 to 8 Nova Orbs in that time. We respect that super choice is an essential part of build crafting, and not every encounter is to fit every Roman super. But we think this change will entice fire teams to bring Roman supers where they otherwise might not have. In addition, we're upping the damage Roman supers do against champions by 50 to 75 depending on the super. This drop roughly brings all Roman supers the same damage profile against champions and give them a distinct advantage when your next Grandmaster Nightfall over a one-off super. So for hunters, expect these changes for Arc Staff, Golden Gun, excludes especially the Nighthawk variant as it's classified as a one-off super. Spectral Blades, Silk Strike, For Titans, that means Fist of Havoc, Burning Maul, Excludes Pyrogale, Hammer of Soul, Sentinel Shield, Glacial Quake, and Blade Fury. And for Warlocks, that includes Storm Trance, Daybreak, Nova Warp, and Winter's Wrath. This is a major change, so we're going to keep our eye on it, how it goes. I think Winter's Wrath might be better for me in that case, along with Nova Warp. I don't really feel like a Daybreak person. Storm Trance is just kind of, I use it occasionally. Armor Team is hard at work at content for both the next episode and further out for Codename Frontiers. But there are going to be some changes in this. So, Point Contact Cannon Brace. Felt that the lightning strikes provided by this are the main focal point of using the exotic, but they lack build crafting. Death Beyond being visually flashy. So in Act 2, we're putting more emphasis on them contributing to your overall gameplay loop instead of relying on completing Thunderclap defeats. Amplified Lightning Bolts now do 100% increased damage over base, up from 50%. Lightning Strike defeats now refund melee energy, reduced Thunderclap refund by 10% to compensate for the increased energy gains on average. No. Oh, really? Radiant Flux. It's a goal that the two Arc Staff exotics, Blight Ranger and Radiant Flux, have distinct identities. Blight Ranger is rooted in defense, and we want Radiant Flux to be about offense. However, we felt it could benefit from a little bit more punch. So, the Synapse Junction super damage benefit increased 20% per stack, up from 14%. Max benefit is 70% damage increase, up from 50%. Right. Wrathweavers. At the start of this episode, Ballador's Wrathweavers were updated along with the other super damage increasing exotics to give it a little bit more potency to the Shadebinder super. Unfortunately, in this case, this change did not land where we'd like it, so we're increasing the benefits to shattering targets. Increase shatter damage to 150 up from 100. Yeah, that would be really appreciated. Fixed an issue where enemies were inconsistently getting the boosted shatter damage, which led to a decreased overall damage. Increased shatter damage now shows as a yellow number to aid the visibility of the perk. That's all we have for updates and tweaks to other exotics down the road. In Heresy, and with many aim to provide more potency for our Roman supers. Okay. Huh? Okay. Increase the velocity players can generate with the rock jumping blast. Yeah, Rose, Bygones, Graviton Lance, and Elsie's rifle are up top. Yeah, no shit. Prismatic. It's clear that Prismatic subbucks allow combatronics are problematic for Crucible in a way that we cannot easily solve with spot tuning. While we want to keep the higher fantasy for PvE, the PvP dominance is concerning and needs more labor-intensive fix than we can provide inside a mid-season patch. So we've made the decision to give all Prismatic supers a blanket 15% additional ability cooldown penalty inside of the Crucible, which should help outstuff the current king-making strength of these subclasses and provide some reasons to run the base abilities on the standard subclasses. This penalty, on top of the current overall PvP cooldown penalty of... okay. So using Prismatic in PvP is going to have an increased cooldown. So you have a 30% ability cooldown penalty in the Crucible when you're running Prismatic. So, okay. That makes sense. I see why they're doing it. Um, Even with the cooldown increase, Storm's Edge still feels a little bit too much of a win button with little to no counterplay even for a super. As such, we have reduced the damage resistance during the cast and reduced the height of the damage impulse, so that it'll be easier to fight back against while retaining its upfront strength. So the height of damage impulse from 5 to 3 point. Okay. Reduce the damage resistance against players to 45, both on cast and during the spin attack. Move from a tier 3 to a tier 1 for super cooldown. Um. Oh. Change how to activate perk now requires the wearer to damage a player to mark them. The target is marked for 3 seconds, down from 7. Bows are getting increased to their body shop, but this does not affect Le Monarch. Hand cannons increase the damage by 3% for aggressive hand cannons. Um, Reduce the stability, handling, and aim assist stats by 3 for each on an Iggy. Increase the damage on the aggressives, so it would be. This allows them to kill all resilience levels in 2 crits in 1 body. Better Devils. Increase the stability handling stats. Yesterday's question. Correct issue were. Okay. Machine guns. Ammo you get from a crate. So if your magazine size is 50 or less, you get 25. It's 51 to 59, you get 21 and 26 at each thing. 60 to 80, it's... So the more mag size you have, the more rounds you get. Okay. Oh, they nerfed high ground heavily. Holy shit. All told, high ground offers too much of a damage buff to be ignored on such a low barrier. For now, we reduce the stacks that are given to dealing damage with the primary weapon specifically against players down to 1 from 3. This should make the damage be significantly less powerful in PvP, but leave the efficiency alone in PvE. If this change is not enough, we'll address it again in the future release, either by requiring a greater height differential, which cannot be easily triggered in PvP, or greatly reducing the damage bonus against players as a whole. So, dealing damage to a player with a primary ammo only grants a single stack of the damage buff. Dealing damage with a special weapon or against combatants continues to max the maximum stacks. Reduce the splash damage from the perk when used on against players. This only affects legendary hand cannons. Was doing less damage than intended in PvP. Fix the critical bub. Okay, increase the stability on Thorn and Lumina. General Crucible. They're working on lobby balancing. A whole bunch of stuff about this. Mercy rules. And stuff for Festival of the Lost. Very, very interesting. And we have the Street Fighter collab. Art of the Week. movie of the week. And that's it. So, yeah, Red Faction. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was the TWID. Honestly, I'm kind of happy that High Ground's getting a nerf. Because it does feel like it's generally just like a, oh, there you go. And the fact that explosive payload's getting hit too. I like the prismatic change. I think that's going to help. You know, it's like, hey, you can still use prismatic, but just know that you're going to have 30% of this ability cooldown that you have is not going to be there. So they realize this is because of High Ground, so they're going to look at it. Rose, if you're running like Slide Shot with explosive payload or Slide Shot with opening shot, I mean, there's that. Graviton I feel like needs to be looked at because there's no reason it should hit like it does. Because it feels like you're literally just going 1, 2, 3. You just do like 2 crits and then a body. Like, huh? But like other pulses can't do that, and this is a 2 burst heavy. Like other heavies don't feel like they can do that. Kind of some of these others kind of stay in their same spot. What else? Telesto gaining a damage increase in PvE. Okay, I like this. This feels like it's going to be better. I hope that also works in PvP as well. Because I feel like that's the hardest part about being a Silence and Squall user, is you don't or not Silence and Squall, Winter's Wrath user, is you don't feel like you get the damage. So hopefully that will help with that as well. It also getting the changes to be more useful, I think, is better. Especially when you're using Wrath Weavers with Winter's Wrath, I think it will be good. So yeah, very interesting stuff. I'm really interested in seeing how this goes. I think if I freeze target and do that, that should give me like an elemental pickup too. Because I'll be getting, yeah, okay. So yeah, with that being said, Red Faction, I will see y'all later. Have a good one.